The air that millions of Indians breathe every single day is a public health emergency unfolding in slow motion. This is not a problem confined to a few megacities or a specific season. It is a pervasive year-round crisis that grips vast swaths of our nation, from the bustling streets of Mumbai to the quiet villages of the Gangetic Plains. The gray haze that blankets our skylines is a visible symptom of a deep-seated malaise, a toxic cocktail of pollutants that we inhale with every breath. This is not merely an environmental issue to be debated in academic circles. It is a fundamental challenge to our right to life, a silent killer that is shortening lifespans and crippling our future generations before they even have a chance to grow. Understanding this crisis requires us to look beyond the simplistic narratives. The issue is complex, deeply interwoven with our patterns of economic development, our energy consumption, our agricultural practices, and our daily household choices. A thick, acrid smog does not appear out of nowhere. It is the cumulative result. The single biggest contributor to the toxic air in our urban centers is vehicular pollution. It's a direct consequence of our car-centric development model. Our cities are choking on the fumes from millions of cars, trucks, buses, two-wheelers. A significant portion of the fleet runs on diesel, a particularly dirty fuel. The black soot you see puffing out of an old truck is laden with PM 2.5, tiny particles so small they can penetrate deep into the bloodstream. This relentless emission is compounded by poor urban planning, which leads to traffic congestion, forcing vehicles to idle for long periods and burn fuel inefficiently. The dream of personal mobility has turned into a collective nightmare of gridlock and poisoned air. Simultaneously, our industrial and energy sectors are massive polluters. Many operate on a foundation of fossil fuels, particularly coal. Power plants, often just outside cities, burn millions of tons of coal to generate electricity. They release enormous plumes of sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and particulate matter into the atmosphere. These pollutants can travel hundreds of kilometers, contributing to regional smog. Similarly, industries like brick kilns, steel mills, and cement factories often use outdated technologies with minimal emission controls. The most devastating impact of India's polluted air is borne by the human body. It is a public health crisis of epidemic proportions with a direct and measurable effect on mortality and morbidity. The constant inhalation of toxic pollutants acts as a slow poison, leading to a host of chronic and acute illnesses. For children, it means an increased risk of asthma, stunted lung development, recurrent respiratory infections that cause them to miss school and fall behind. For adults, it translates into a higher incidence of heart attacks, strokes, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, lung cancer. Our hospitals are overflowing with patients suffering from ailments directly linked to the air they breathe, placing an immense and unsustainable burden on our public healthcare infrastructure. The economic consequences are just as severe, acting as a significant drag on our national productivity and growth. When people are sick, they cannot work. Air pollution leads to millions of lost workdays annually, reducing output across all sectors. Businesses suffer when their employees are frequently ill. Entire cities can grind to a halt during severe smog episodes. The government must lead the charge with a clear, multi-sectoral strategy that is enforced with unwavering political will. This begins with aggressive regulations on our biggest polluters. For the transport sector, this means leapfrogging to the strictest emission standards like Bharat Stage 6 and creating a robust system for phasing out old, polluting commercial trucks and buses. Massive public investment is required in affordable, reliable, comfortable public transport. Metro rails, electric buses. Urban planning must be reimagined to promote walkability, cycling, reducing dependency on cars, and fundamentally changing how our cities move. For industry and power, polluter pays must be enforced without compromise. Mandate installation of FGD systems in all coal-fired power plants. Ensure they run 24/7 and publish real-time emissions data for transparency. Shift policy decisively from fossil fuels to renewables. Solar, wind, to stop stubble burning, move beyond punishments, and give farmers viable solutions. The battle for clean air cannot be won from ministry offices alone. It must become a people's movement. The fight for clean air is a fight for our collective future, an unshakable hope for a healthier tomorrow.